right. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your night to come learn a little bit about Celestial Cruises. And thank you, Colette, for putting everything together. So my name is Stephanie McDonald, and I am the Training and Development Manager for Celestial. I've been with them for about 2 years now, and have had the pleasure of going on board a few of our cruises over the last couple of years. And I'm excited to share about a little bit more about our product and who we are. Now, there's so many amazing cruise lines and products and stuff out there. It's really about finding the one that fits best with you and what you would want, for out of your personal vacation. So why would you pick Celestial? Right away, the first thing when I'm thinking of why would you cruise or choose to cruise with Celestial? Well, we are a Greek-owned and operated cruise line. And so specifically when you're talking about a destination, our company's from that area. We have been in the industry for actually, it's almost 85 years now, but we've branched into North America in the last maybe 6 or 7 years, just a few years prior to obviously the pandemic. But we're very much the regional experts when it comes to, especially with the Med, because we are from that area, are born and bred, know the area like the back of our hands. So specifically when you're going to specific destinations, it's good to know and have that camaraderie of knowing the area specifically by that company. So we have 2 ships that are small boutique ships, and we've recently replaced both of our ships. So they are new to us vessels that have had some significant refits to them, and I'll go through. New to us isn't necessarily, it's definitely not a bad thing. In fact, it's quite great because anything that we didn't like, we were able to change on an already existing vessel and make it more our own and make it more up to standard of what we would want out of our cruises. And they're very beautiful boutique ships, which I will show you. Deep regional expertise, especially with the authentic experience that you're going to have in the different destinations, being again from that location. We have incredibly immersive itineraries. We are a little bit different than some other cruise lines. A lot of cruise lines, the whole premise of the whole point of it is they want to get you to show you the destination, but they want to get you back on board as soon as possible so that you can open up the shops and the casinos. That's not what it is with us. We are really more about the destination, and the ship is what's getting you to the destination for sure, but we want you to be more immersed into the destination. So we do try to stay longer if possible, sometimes late nights, sometimes overnights, depending on the particular itinerary. And then we visit more ports of call. We rarely have sea days. So on 2 of the 3 itineraries I'm going to show you, there's no sea days at all. We spend our time in port because if you're going to fly all the way over to Europe, we really want you to get to spend as much time in the destination. Caribbean, you can do sea days. I love a sea day like anybody else, but that's something that I'm going to do in an area that it's not about where I'm going to. I'm not going to fly all the way to Europe just to spend the whole time on the ship, right? And then we also speak your language. And what I mean by that is that if English isn't your first language, or if that's not the language you'd prefer to be spoken to on board and on your shore excursions, just let us know that. It's not a 100% guarantee, but we definitely do try to make sure that we can get everybody on the shore excursion that they would like, in the language that they would like to be spoken to in. French is really easy for us. Spanish is really easy for us. Mandarin, not so much, but so I think you see where I'm going here. We definitely try to accommodate you as best as we possibly can with your language of choice. That's not to say that we're going to constantly inundate you over the PA system with many different languages of what we're going through. That's not it at all. It really is just about those shore excursions and making sure that you have the health and safety products and everything that you need in the language that you would prefer. So that's a little bit about Celestial. What we've done is Colette and I, we put together some groups. And so I'm going to show you the ship specifically, and then I'm going to show you the itinerary. So the first thing I'm going to start with is a video of the ship that we have specifically put some group space on for you. So this is a Celestial Journey. She is 55,000 tons, so a nice mid-size ship, holds 1,260 guests, 630 staterooms, and 149 of those are balconies. The size definitely matters when it comes to specific destinations and locations. And being 55,000 tons, that's a really good mid-size to on the smaller level of ships. Usually ships that are around the under 1,000 guests are considered luxury and significantly more expensive. We're more in the contemporary to premium, meaning that economically we do fit a lot, not just with the size of the ship and going into the destinations, but we fit a lot when it comes to economics as well, due to the really great pricing that we have, which we will end up showing you. With this particular ship being 55,000 tons, she has 8 lively bars, 2 swimming pools, 7 restaurants, and our Sozo spa. Now, when we acquired the ship just about 2 years ago, we put in 20 million euros into revitalizing the ship. And the company that had it previous to us, just before the pandemic, had also put in $40 million into revitalizing the ship. So she, even though is a little bit seasoned in age, definitely looks absolutely amazing. And I think that you might have seen that with the pictures or with the video, but here's a couple of the photos. So this would be your public space, your pool deck space. There's 2 pool deck areas, one where the roof will open and close. So if it happens to be, and knock on wood, hopefully it's not a rainy day when you're there, but if it happens to be a rainy or overcast day and you are hanging out on the ship, you will have the ability to go and enjoy the pool, even though it's not so nice out. Where you'll find me on any time that I'm on the ship is more on that aft pool deck space. It kind of gives the feel that you're on your own little private yacht back there as well, and it's a really great spot when you're going to be watching sail away. Now, cruising has a lot to do with food, and you definitely will wear your tighter clothes at the beginning of the week and your looser clothes at the end, because they'll feel more like your tighter clothes for sure, because the food is absolutely phenomenal. We have an open dining concept, meaning that you can come and go at whatever time you want into the main restaurant, which is called the Thalassa. And so what I mean by you can come and go during the opening hours, whatever time it is that you want. If you're thinking, I'm hungry now, you can go in and have your food, or you can go an hour later. There's no specific dining time except for the time that the restaurant is open for. So it really is whatever suits you, whatever's the best situation for yourself. Apart from that, we also have the Taverna, which is a buffet. And that one we have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and lighter option snacks and things like that in the afternoon. We have a few specialty restaurants too. And by specialty, I mean, those are the ones that are a la carte. Those are the ones that there would be an additional charge for. This one here is called Smoked Olive, and it is a la carte, meaning it depends on what it is that you're wanting for what the price of this restaurant would be. But it would be pastas, pizzas, risotto, more of your Italian type food. Now, if you happen to be in a balcony stateroom or above, then you have this location as an alternative location to go to in lieu of the main restaurant. So if you did not want to go to the main restaurant, or you've been going to the main restaurant for the last couple of nights and you want to try something different and you're in a balcony room or above, then you have the opportunity to come up to Smoked Olive, not for the restaurant food that's there, not for the a la carte food. You have the main menu restaurant, or the main menu from the restaurant downstairs. However, it's nice to have a change of scenery and alternative location and not having to pay over and above. Also handy if one person wants specialty and one person doesn't, then you can kind of mix and match together. So just giving our guests a few additional options of other locations to go to. We've also got this one here called Pink Moon, and this is going to be more of our Asian fusion restaurant. Kind of a funny story. Last time I was here, I had ordered stuff for everybody for the table, and I had ordered everybody, oddly enough, a spring roll. I wouldn't think much of it, but the waiter kind of looked at me funny, like, what do you want a spring roll? One for everybody? He's like, are you sure? Like, yeah, it should be small, right? No. The spring roll came out the size of a burrito. It was absolutely fantastic and one of the best spring roll burritos I've ever had. But I would definitely recommend checking out Pink Moon. It is a phenomenal restaurant, really unique the way that they've come up with some of the different items. And if you are a steak and seafood person, then Grill Seekers is for sure where you're going to want to go. So we have 2 options here. You can do a 5-course meal for 49 euros, which is not that bad. It's actually a really great price. or you can do the a la carte in here as well. So entirely up to you. There's also a few different areas. We have something called the Greek deli if you want to do some lighter fare options up on the pool deck space. If you're wanting some gelatos, there's an ice cream area up on the pool deck space as well. I'm just trying to think of all the other areas that we have for food. I can tell you one thing, I definitely did not go hungry at all on the ship, and I got all the Greek fixins that I wanted, as well as North American flavors as well. In the evening, what do you do in the evening when the ship is all about the destination? When you're on board, there's all sorts of entertainment to be had. So our celestial singers and dancers put on some great production shows every night in the main show lounge. They do it 2 times a night, so you'll get a different show in there. But then there's also live entertainment in the different bars and lounges. And my favorite of those to go to is going to be the Martini Bar. So the Martini Bar is amazing. Obviously, to go and get a great martini for sure. But most of our bar staff are also magicians. You might have seen that in the video. Most of them are magicians. So while you are waiting for your drink to be made, you're also getting a bit of a magic show or a bit of entertainment. And then one night during the cruise in this location, the staff also do put on a bit of a flair bartending magic show and sing along sort of a situation. It honestly ends up being so much fun, and it is one of the most talked about activities because it just sort of seems like it comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they put this on for you. And being a smaller ship with less guests on board, you really do get an opportunity to get to know the staff as well as the other guests on board. So you're kind of cheering on your friends that you met while they're doing their performance, which is pretty cool. We also have a bar here called the Blue Bar. Now, you might have noticed in the video that there were some really unique cocktails coming out. Those were from our alchemy menu that can be found here in the Blue Bar. So if you are a connoisseur of cocktails, this is definitely going to be the location to go to. I personally am not very fancy with my cocktails, but I did enjoy hanging out here and watching just how amazing it was, how they put all of this beautiful things together to make these drinks. It really is an art form all in itself, and definitely another bit of entertainment, a bit of a show to watch how they did that. Now, the ship is not very large. Like I say, it's 55,000 tons. It doesn't take too long to get from one area to the other. You can see here our beautiful Centrum. This is the center of the ship here. We've got the reception. We have shore excursions here, as well as if you continued on, there is a cinema, so a theater, test kitchens, all sorts of great activities and such to be had. But when you're on board, where are you going to stay? We've got a few different options for you. Now, this is an inside stateroom. I'll let you know the room is 182 square feet. That's a pretty large inside stateroom. Gives the illusion that it isn't an inside stateroom with the curtain there, but I assure you that this is definitely an inside stateroom. But nice appointed, very nice size as well. Or you could look at a window stateroom. So essentially exactly the same, except it's 204 square feet and it has a window. So it is a little bit larger. But what most guests from North America end up doing, and I'm definitely one of those, once you have a balcony, it's hard to go back. So we put some group space aside, specifically balconies and above for you guys. And this is our Junior Dream Suite. The room's 223 square feet. So it's a really nice room. The ship actually was originally built for world cruises. So there's a significant amount of storage space in your room. I could bring everything from home. I'm still not going to fill up all the spots and nooks and crannies and stuff that were in here, which was pretty cool. But if you are, depending on who you're cruising with, something to note that bed can be separated if you wanted to. If you're, two ladies are traveling together or what have you, you can definitely separate those beds. That sofa can be a pull-out sofa if you wanted it to be. There's a very large, very deep balcony here. And if there is a third person, of course, we would make sure that we had a third chair for you here too. And then what you don't see in the photo is the size of the bathroom. If you've cruised before, you may know that cruise ship bathrooms can be pretty small and tight. Well, this room's actually quite large because in that room, in the bathroom, there is a bathtub. And so I'm not going to have a bath when I'm on a cruise ship. It's not like your full size bathtub like you would have at home, or, one of those big soaker tubs or anything, but it is pretty large. It's step in for the shower. And so by telling you that, the reason I tell you that is it's, like I said, I'm probably not going to have a bath, but the bathroom has to be the size of the bathtub, which means that the bathroom is really quite large. In fact, the vanity area was pretty significant. I could put my makeup and all my hair stuff there, and it wasn't in the way at all, which was pretty great. So definitely the Junior Dream Suite is a lovely stateroom to be at. However, there are other suites as well, and I'm going to show you for the next level of suite some of the different amenities that you would receive, which would be different and exclusive just to the our next two levels of suite. So what you receive here is on arrival, you have priority embarkation. We'll handle your luggage for you. You have a suites concierge. You're going to get some sparkling wine and fruit in your room. And then if you would like, we'll assist you with unpacking. When you're on board, you've got complimentary room service and daily fresh fruit and 3 cans of soda, 2 cans of beer, 1 bottle of water per person replenished every day, canapes before dinner, petit fours after dinner. You can do full meal service in your room if you would like. We can make arrangements for the spa for you, for shore excursions, for anything at all that you would like. Pillow menu, upgraded amenities in your bathroom. We'll do pressing service, shoe shine service. And sadly enough, when it is time to go, we'll assist you with packing again, if you would like, priority disembarkation, and to escort you off the ship if you would like. Now, we've specifically put aside a few of these grand suites for the groups that call out as blocked. So the room is really nice. It's 376 square feet. So you've got a nice king size bed, an upgraded sofa here that is also a pullout if you wanted to, a very long balcony and a large bathroom with, again, that separate, that one's got a bathtub and a shower that are separate from each other. So a really nice space here too. But where are we going to go with this? So like I said, we've blocked 3 different itineraries. So what I'm going to show you is our Adriatic itineraries first. So we call them our Heavenly Adriatic. They are on board the Celestial Journey. It is a 7-night itinerary. And with this particular itinerary, you're going to visit 4 different countries. So let me start it with the video first. Pretty nice itinerary, eh? So this is our Heavenly Adriatic, and it's, like I was saying, 7 nights on board the Celestial Journey. So this is a Saturday to Saturday sailing. So you would fly into the port, you'd fly into Athens, and we port out of the port of Piraeus, which is about 20 minutes from downtown Athens. But from Athens, obviously, you're going to want to come in a day or so early. There's lots to see and do in Athens, and you'll probably end up coming in and staying in the Plaka area, which is where you're in walking distance to the Acropolis. The Plaka is a It's the oldest city actually in Athens, and it's very much a tourist area. However, you will find a lot of locals end up in there too, because there's a lot of great bars and lounges and restaurants, and it's just a lively spot to go to. And it's great because wherever you are, you look up and you can see the Acropolis. So it's a pretty cool beacon to send you in the right direction of where you happen to be going back to your hotel. Now we do sail at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on this itinerary, so not typical. Most cruise ships sail at 5, 6 o'clock. This particular itinerary is at 1 o'clock because we need to get into Kefalonia the very next day so that we are in for a full day in Kefalonia. Then we are in Dubrovnik for an overnight. So that's kind of neat too. Actually, one thing I'll mention about Kefalonia, it's actually the birthplace of the Olympics. And so if from 776 BC. So if you were into the Olympics, and this was actually, something that kind of stood out so much to me while watching the actual Olympics this year, was how cool would it be to go to Kefalonia, where you could actually see the original birthplace of the Olympics, but then also in Athens, you can go to the Pantheon and you can go to the birthplace of the modern day Olympics too. So kind of a neat opportunity there to do that. Then with Dubrovnik, we're there from 12 o'clock in the afternoon. We don't leave until 2:30 in the morning. And Dubrovnik, obviously a beautiful walled city that you're going to want to go in and check out. And to see it all lit up at night definitely makes a big difference. One of the cool activities you can do there is, if you're into Game of Thrones, is that you can do a Game of Thrones tour as well. Then we're in Kotor, Montenegro. We've got Bari, Italy as well for the full day, Corfu, Greece, Katakolo, Greece, and then ending that cruise back in Athens. So it is a very important 10-Sep itinerary with a significant amount of time, like I was saying, in Dubrovnik, which is really the key port on this particular itinerary. Actually, they're all pretty key, but that one, to spend that little bit of extra time, it's nice to not have, feeling that rush that you need to get back to the ship. So that's one of our heavenly Adriatic itineraries. We've also got one that includes Venice. And so a couple of times during the year, only 3 times during the whole year, will we switch this itinerary and do one that will bring us into Venice. So it's Athens, now sailing at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Saturday to Saturday. Then we have a day at sea. We're in Kotor, Montenegro, Split, Croatia, Venice, Italy, day at sea, Katakolo, Greece, and then back to Athens. Now, the reason why Venice is so significant on this one, obviously, for itself, just being Venice and how incredibly amazing it is, but no, cruise ships can't go into Venice any longer. And it's only really a matter of time into how much longer will anybody really, or how many people can go into Venice at any time. Obviously, that's going to start to be governed a bit more. So if you're wanting to go, if that's a place that you're thinking of, sooner rather than later is definitely something that you want to do. But because of the ban on cruise ships, the cruise companies have had to be a bit creative. And so I just took this from a Google map just so that you could have an idea as to where other companies are versus where we are. So anything that's over 60,000 tons, remember we're 55,000 tons, which is great. Anything that's over that has to go to places like Ravenna, which is about over 2 hours drive away from Venice to go into Venice. We are small enough that we're actually docked just outside of Venice in a place called Marghera, which is about 20 to 25 minutes into downtown. So it definitely saves a significant amount of time being on a smaller ship for that reason. The next itinerary that I have is our Greek Isles, also on board the journey. It will be a 7-night, and it's called our idyllic Aegean. And then this one, we'll visit 2 countries, and I'll show you a video on this one now too. So this is our idyllic Aegean itinerary, and this is our core product, what we've been doing for years and years and years, and it's really what we're very much known for as well. And it is the best way to see Greece, bar none, because if you look at the itinerary, it is super port intensive. So again, sailing out of the port of Piraeus or Athens, sailing at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The following day, we're going to be in Thessaloniki, which is the second largest city in Greece. Then the next day, we're going to be in Kushadasi, which will give you plenty of time to go in and see what most of us are going to do in Kushadasi, which is to go see the ancient city of Ephesus, as well as potentially to add on a trip to the Virgin Mary's house, or maybe doing something where you add on the terrace houses. If you've been to Ephesus before, maybe this is your opportunity to go and do a little bit of shopping. There's some great shopping to be had there. Or even if you're feeling a little brave, maybe go check out a Turkish bath. I'll tell you, my skin's never felt so amazing after I've come out from a scrub at a Turkish bath, which is pretty cool. Then we'll be in Crete. And then where the itinerary really stands out is the time in Santorini and the time in Mykonos. So those are two incredibly key ports when you're thinking about Greece, right? Everybody thinks about Santorini and they think about Mykonos. And so with the amount of time that we spend in Santorini, this is definitely significant because we're there from 7 o'clock in the morning until 12:30 at night. Now, I can guarantee you we will not be the only ship in port. There are always other ships in port in Santorini. And excuse me, Santorini is a tender port. So what that means, if you're not familiar, is from the ship, we go to a little boat and we go ashore from there. Now, if you're on our shore excursion, what we most likely will do is we'll tender over to the other side of the island where the buses will be waiting for you. And then we'll zigzag you up the mountain and you'll do your tour. And then we'll give you a cable car ticket to come down the mountain at any time that you would like to. And then you can head back to the ship from there, but you don't have to be in any rush to come down. Now, Santorini is from a sunken in volcano. So you're on the rim of a caldera, like right around the rim. That's obviously the top part of Santorini. And most people end up doing the cable car up and the cable car down, or they take our tour and they take the cable car down. Now, when all the other cruise lines are in port, all of those guests need to get down the ship for 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 o'clock at night because their ships are sailing. We're not sailing till 12:30. So when they're coming down the mountain, or they're waiting to come down the mountain, they're waiting for that cable car. Well, let me tell you, the cable car has 6 cars going up and 6 cars going down, and each of them only accommodates 6 people. So it can be a bit of a lineup for those guests wanting to get off, but not for our guests, because our guests are still enjoying Santorini. They're still exploring. You're still going and maybe doing some shopping. Maybe you're grabbing some food and sitting out on a beautiful terrace and having some wine and watching the sunset. When it is time for you to head back to the ship, it's great because when you come down that cable car, you're going to see Santorini all beautifully lit up at night. Because you're not in a rush to get back on board. You can come back at whatever time. You can come back on board anytime you want and then go back and forth as many times as you'd like as well. But then you just end up purchasing an additional cable car ticket, which I think is only about under 10 euros to do as well. Same with Mykonos. So Mykonos, we are there from 8 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the morning. So you've got a whole entire day. Now, you might say, I am not going out until 2 o'clock in the morning. Hey, you never know. The spirit might move you. Santorini is known for its beach clubs and for its nightlife. Okay, what most of our guests will do, they'll go out and explore during the day. Then when it's time to come back on board, they'll come back on board, or before it's time actually, they'll come back on board and they'll have dinner. And then a lot of them will go back out after the fact and go and explore and maybe go find some local entertainment, or just to simply go for a walk after dinner is really nice too. Okay. Then the last port of call is the port of Milos, which if you look at the bottom photos here, you see Milos. The topography of the island, it feels like you've walked on the like you're walking on the moon. It's pretty unique, and it also has some of the most bluest turquoise water I've ever seen in my life. The last time I was there was in March, and I was very tempted to go for a swim. It was a little bit too chilly in March, but I'm back in a couple of weeks, and I'll definitely be jumping in that water because it is pretty amazing and such a beautiful spot. I think out of all of the destinations, Milos was the one that stood out the most because I didn't know as much about it until actually having gone to it. So we've also put a group aside on this particular itinerary. Now, one thing that I didn't mention about Celestial is the packages that we have. So when you're purchasing a cruise with us, there are certain things that are already included in your cruise. And so we have something called the Plus Experience, which is what Colette's put aside space for at her secured pricing. And so what you receive with this Plus Experience package is your onboard dining, of course, plus you've got specialty restaurant, 25% off of our specialty restaurant. You have our enhanced beverage package, which means that you have a full beverage package that at any time of during the day, if there's anything that you'd want, whether it be alcohol or non-alcohol, any beverage that's €7 or under, which is a significant amount of our drinks on board, as well as smoothies, specialty coffees, water, all that stuff that would work with that. If for whatever reason there's a drink that's €8 or €9, you would only have to pay the difference on that. You will also get per person a $170 shore excursion credit that we give you a shore excursion credit because we want to entice or encourage everybody to go online prior to the cruise and book not just the credit, but book other tours or your whole cruise worth of tours so that once you get on board, you're not disappointed and that's already done. So by giving you a credit, it encourages you to go in and take a peek, and you must utilize that credit at least 48 hours prior to your sailing day. That $170 is the equivalent of one or two shore excursions, depending on what tour. Average pricing for a shore excursion is $80 to $92. So it is, and let me start by saying all of these prices are in US dollars, by the way. So just so that you know, that's the amount of credit you get. Your port charges and gratuities are also included. And then you also get Wi-Fi. So you get 1 hour of Wi-Fi per person per day in the stateroom. Right away, you might say, that is not enough Wi-Fi. I need to be connected all the time. Well, you're only in 2 countries on this itinerary. So if you needed to get a SIM card for Greece, that's fine. The other ones, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because you're visiting 4 different countries. And so then you'd need a different SIM card for each one. But for the idyllic, the one that's very Greece intense, you can. If you needed more Wi-Fi, you can purchase more. It's not very expensive. But the nice thing about this 1 hour for, excuse me, per person per day is it's not use it or lose it. If you don't use it all today, it's going to roll into tomorrow. Excuse me 1 second. So here are the itineraries that Colette has put aside. Excuse me, I got a little tickle in my throat there. So on board the Celestial Journey on May the 24th, apologize for that. This is the idyllic Aegean, so Athens, Thessaloniki, Kustasi, Crete, Santorini, Mykonos, Milos, back to Athens. We have put aside some space in our junior balcony suites, as well as our dream suite. So the balcony rooms and then the room that's just above that. You can see what the prices here are per person. These are in US dollars. And then the price for the 3rd and 4th guest, if you wanted to add them. The deposit amount is only $300 US for the stateroom. And it's fully refundable up to your final payment date. And then as a reminder, what you get with that price is your full beverage package, a $170 shore excursion credit per person. Your gratuities are included in that, and you've got internet. Okay, so that's for the May the 24th date. And then we've also blocked aside the Heavenly Adriatic on July the 26th. This is the one that's doing Venice. So Athens, Kotor, Split, Venice, Catacolo, back to Athens. So you can see the price here for the junior suite balconies or the grand dream suite balcony room. And exactly the same thing with this price. You've got your $170 shore excursion credit. You've got your, your drink package, gratuities, Wi-Fi, all the rest of that. We also do have one more, the original Heavenly Adriatic, the one that was very port intensive without those sea days. However, we've had to make a date change. And so we're just waiting on the finals of what that date is going to be. I believe it will be the end of April doing or early May time doing that one. But if that is the one that you're interested in, then we should have that all finalized within the next couple of days with pricing and everything that Paulette and the team at Creative Tours can let you know about. So that's what we put aside specifically for that. But I wanted to take a moment and also talk about another destination that we do go to, in case it is an area that you maybe didn't think about, but now you're going, oh, I like the idea of Celestial. This sounds great. Where else do they go? Maybe you're not looking at these particular destinations. We are going to be moving our ships for the winter to the Arabian Gulf. Well, this may not be an area that you've necessarily thought about. If it is on your radar, it might be one of those areas that you're a little apprehensive about, as was I when we first brought this out. Now, I had the pleasure of going to Doha, Qatar recently and being hosted by them. They showed us around, gave us a feel for the area, and took us on a bunch of tours. We looked at a bunch of the site inspections of hotels. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. So this is our desert days itinerary, sailing Saturday to Saturday departures out of the port of Doha, Qatar. Doha has been named one of the safest countries in the world for year over year for many years in a row. It's also one of the cleanest places I have ever been. If you've ever been to Singapore, it felt very similar, just on a smaller scale to going into Singapore. And so with this particular itinerary, I'm really excited because it just opens up a different destination that I feel much more comfortable going to these areas on board a cruise ship, because I know what I'm getting on the cruise ship, and I know that I'm going on the tours that are handled by the cruise line. So again, if this is an area you're thinking about, I've booked my family for December. I cannot wait to do it. So we're going to do Doha, Qatar, leaving at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. Then we're going to be in Bahrain the following day. We're going to do an overnight in Dubai, Kasab, Oman, Surbaniyaz Island, Abu Dhabi, and then ending that cruise back in Doha. If you are a Grand Prix enthusiast, we will be in Qatar for the Grand Prix this year, and we'll be there for Saturday and Sunday of the race. And then a just abbreviated itinerary, a little bit different, where we'll do the overnight in Dubai, Kasab, Surbaniyaz, and Abu Dhabi. We will also be in the area for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So if you are a Grand Prix person, this is definitely a highlight, something that's kind of neat to do. Except this one, we're going to start it on a Monday to Monday itinerary out of Dubai. You can just fly into Dubai, maybe spend a couple of days in Dubai prior to, or you could do the itinerary out of Doha, just giving you as many options and different things with whatever it is that you would like to do. But with this particular one, it will go and do the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And then our other ship that I didn't tell you about, next year we'll be going over to do what we call Gulf Icons out of Abu Dhabi. So a very unique itinerary. You could either fly there or you could fly into Dubai, and it's only a 90-minute drive. So you can kind of, Dubai's ever been a spot that you've ever really wanted to spend some time in, and you also want to do a cruise, then these are ones that you could end up piecing together. If that interests you in any way whatsoever, then definitely Colette and team can get you more information about that. And with that, I'll just say, again, thank you for taking the time. If this is something that you are thinking about, that you're interested in, please make sure that you reach out to the team, and they'll be able to get all the information over to you. So I will bring it back over to Colette.